Welcome back to another Emissaries from the Void Liminal.
Hello.
I'm Tristan.
And I'm Ari. And that's a cat playing with our stuff.
She's helping.
She's contributing. So, like we said before, every now and then we're going to have a movie that had potential to be a full episode, but upon watch and review, we really don't have a lot of meat on the bone, but we still wanted to talk about it. And that's what today's feature was.
Yes, it's a movie called Midnight Special.
And I don't know even how to parse that title with what we watched.
Yeah, I don't really know where that comes from, but...
Star-studded cast. Like, lots of big names in this movie.
Yeah, some before they were famous, some...
Definitely can't name most of them, but I recognize them from a lot of other
Right.
things. I'm very bad with names.
Adam Driver is the big one.
And he's he's so young in this.
Yeah, 2016.
You know how actors are. They want to do an indie film after they do a big budget film just so that they don't lose their cred.
Yeah, this is an independent sci-fi film, and
I would argue that it's more fantasy, but
sure.
it's like
science fantasy.
Yeah. It's about higher vibrational entities, to put it in a generic term that kind of would fit any genre. Are they angels? Are they just higher dimensional beings? Are they, what the fuck are they? Are they ascended humans? Who knows?
Yeah.
But let me just tell you something that was in my head the entire time we were watching this film.
Okay.
I was thinking about Deep Space Nine while we were watching this movie. Because there's a character in Deep Space Nine, for those of you who've never watched it, named Odo. And spoilers for a show that is older than I am. But effectively, the big reveal in DS9 about that character is that he was dispatched by his species through the wormhole. That's the big major central plot of the show. And they sent out 100 young changelings out into the cosmos to learn about the universe, with this imperative inside them that would call them back home eventually. It's literally the plot of this movie happens as an episode of DS9, except it's not like a cult or whatever, but like this like idea of being called back and not understanding why, and following it and learning about who you really are and what you're really capable of and all this kind of stuff. And the entire time we're watching this movie out, because I've been rewatching Deep Space Nine, it's my comfort show, and I was like, holy shit, this is literally they just took the plot beats of that episode of DS9 it's a couple of episodes, but they took that story arc from DS9 and they just shaved off the numbers on it, shaved off the serial number and added a suspense thriller bent to it, and it was kind of that. And, and I think that's probably why maybe this movie did not meet my expectations as much as I wanted it to, was because I was expecting the entities to be malevolent, because that's what it is in Deep Space Nine. The founders are a malevolent species. Like Odo being a good changeling and not like bent on control and destruction is a unique character aspect of his.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to try to briefly summarize this, even though obviously spoilers, and we do encourage you to watch the movie.
Yes, this movie, of a lot of the ones we watch, like, I don't, if we watch some garbage, like, it's fine, but this movie's actually really good.
Yeah.
I literally said the words, it was cozy in a way I wasn't expecting it to be.
Yeah, it's suspenseful, but cozy.
Yeah, like, the stakes are not very high in this film, honestly, despite the subject matter. Anyway, please summarize the film.
So we start the film with a news report of an Amber Alert for this 8-year-old boy, and we are in the hotel room with these two men who have that boy, and we're not really given any more information than that, but throughout the course of the movie, we learn bit by bit more of their situation, and they did abduct this child, but it is actually his biological son, and they abducted it from this like cult compound called the Ranch. And furthermore, child has some, let's just say, magical powers
over the electromagnetic spectrum, it seems. Like,
yeah,
he can control technology through controlling power and stuff like that.
Yeah. I'm sure there's a word for that. Like,
it's very vague. Like, is he controlling electricity?
Technokinesis. If that's not a word, it should be technokinesis.
Technokinesis is a name of power, but it's more like the sun overwhelms him, I think, because the sun's a huge source of electromagnetic energy, and so I suspect that's why he has the problem being out in the day until he learns to get a handle on his powers, is because it's like overloading his manipulation, because he hears radio waves. Like, he can hear, the government's involved in this because he can hear their radio communications.
Yeah.
But there's like a lot of plot threads in this film, like, or not plot threads, but like a lot of like potential in this movie that they just don't do anything with. Like, they're like, because at the beginning of the film, Adam Driver's character comes in and it's like, oh yeah, you listed off these special government programs in your sermons, and the boy, and he was like, well, the sermon, the cult leader dude's like, well, the boy told me. Yeah. But that doesn't go anywhere.
Like, he would sometimes speak in tongues or other languages, and we would write it all down, and that's our scripture, and it includes these coordinates.
And these specific like government project names, like Red Saber or whatever.
Right. Yeah, and the other thing is that he wears these like swim goggles, which are kind of like a Cyclops type thing, because when he takes them off, light tends to shoot out of his eyes, and he can kind of project thoughts into people, like maybe images, but one person they interview says not so much images as like feelings, and it seems to be implied that it's kind of visions of the dimension that he comes from,
or that he's connected to somehow.
Right.
Because I mean, he was born physically to these two people.
Yeah.
Like, we meet his dad at the beginning of the film, and then later on we meet his biological mother, and they're like normal ass humans for the most part, although we'll get to it, I guess. But like, so clearly there's some extra secret sauce that was added in his conception, separate from the physicality of these two people.
Yeah, and it might be like Odo, that he was kind of sent into this body, because he does say that they've been watching us for a long time.
Right. And that's kind of how I was interpreting it, is like his soul is one of them, but like his physical corporeality is a normal human corporeal form. But then that's why his powers are like making him sick until he gets a handle on them at the climax. I would say it's the climax of the film. Or it's definitely like this film almost has two climaxes, because there's the climax when he gains control of his powers,
right, and
then there's the climax at the end where we get to see this hidden world, which kind of underwhelming, if I'm not gonna lie. Like,
so that was actually why I picked this movie, because we just released the episode for A Dark Song, in which we talked about how the reveal of the angel was a bit underwhelming for the amount of gravitas that it was supposed to carry.
Right, because like this reveal of this hidden world that's just existing beyond our ability to see, and like there's these structures that have just been here the whole time, and like because they're people, like they're in the cities, and we get a shot where one of the structures is seemingly bisecting another building, basically. And so it's like, okay, so these structures are existing in this higher plane, and we can see it right now, but it's not like, I bet you that if someone went up and touched them, they wouldn't have been able to touch the structures.
I wish someone would have tried. That would have revealed a lot.
Right, but I guess they wanted to leave it ambiguous. But this idea of a hidden world just beyond our vision, it's beautiful. It looks really beautiful, but but these energy beings, you're telling me these energy beings basically occupy these like glorified arboreums, because like they all have trees and plants inside of them and stuff. And I'm like, okay, I get what they were going for, but it just felt like they couldn't pick a lane with like what they were hoping to achieve basically with it, because you've got these like ineffable energy beings, and then they're like just kind of existing in some like solar punk buildings, and that kind of feels like if they were going to go with the energy being route, then the structure should have been just completely bizarre and alien, and like not made like maybe like made out of crystal or something, like, and they're all digital, so they could have done whatever they wanted to.
Because why would a being of light need a
why would they care
rise?
Like
or
just have them be like people, just have them be look like humans, like the veil is pulled back, and then suddenly there's all these like super solar punky looking humans who have just been in the background, and then that would be like, oh, okay, then they're just like us, but they're just operating on like a higher level than us, basically.
Because they're one with the sun or whatever,
or they just have this power that lets them elevate themselves or something.
So basically the driving driving plot, is that
the plot?
Okay.
You mean like the driving motivator, or like
I guess that's what I'm going for. Is getting this kid to this specific location at the specific date, which was kind of decoded from all of the coordinates and stuff that he said. And the cults, the ranch, like they know the date. They know something's going to happen. They think it's Judgment Day. And they think that if they have this kid with them, he's named Alton, by the way.
Which the movie takes huge pains to make this kid appear to be as grown up as possible. So I think that him being named Alton is a very like grown-up-y sounding old guy name. And then he talks like a 30-year-old. He does not talk like a child in this film. He talks like he is a grown-ass adult. Which they're like trying to show like, well, he's something different. He's not just a normal kid.
Exactly.
Very autism coded, actually, like because he has to wear those like sound canceling headphones and the goggles, because like the light. It just felt really weird, because I'm like I have a friend who has to put on the light filter goggles and wear noise canceling headphones sometimes, because she just gets so overwhelmed by like stimulus.
Interesting.
So it just kind of I was like, oh, they just I don't know. Maybe there's little neurodivergence symbolism there or something.
Little autistic messiah.
Autistic electromagnetic Jesus.
That can be the title of this liminal. Anyway, Cult wants him back because they think that's the only way they'll be saved, is to have him with them on Judgment Day. So they send a couple of their members with guns, which they've been stockpiling, and to retrieve him. And you've got the FBI/NSA/ whatever else,
government,
the government.
In Mage the Ascension terms, the fucking technocracy shows up, because this is a reality deviant. For those of you who know World of Darkness, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And this movie, honestly, like, there's a lot of films that you can like put in the World of Darkness universe if you stretch it a little bit. But this legitimately felt like a Mage the Ascension fucking session that I was watching.
Interesting.
Because like he's awakening to his powers, and then the technocracy, who are the main antagonist of Mage the Ascension, are like, yo, we can't be having someone listening to our fucking radio communications and shit like that. Anyway, the film fit so well that I was in addition to thinking about DS9, I was also thinking about like, how would I alter this to make it a plot for Mage the Ascension? Because I'm about to run a Mage the Ascension game. So anyway. We're getting some crossover nerd shit in this podcast today,
Yeah.
I guess.
Oh boy.
Tristan doesn't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
I mean I've heard some of those words before. So yeah, basically we've got like all of these people kind of putting all of their effort towards Alton and like either protecting him or kidnapping him or, you know, trying to figure out what government secrets he knows. And the main characters are so driven by this belief in kind of the world that he shows them implicitly. And like that they need to get him to this location, that they're willing to cross some lines. An early example is they're driving at night and they swerve to miss this car that's just kind of in the middle of the road for some reason.
Yeah, just randomly. Like she's just parked in the middle of the road and
yeah, I think something must have been wrong with her before any of this, but then a truck hits her and Lucas, who is the like childhood friend of Roy, who is Alton's father, gets out and, you know, tries to help her. And this is a moment where we see like, okay, these aren't just like hardened criminals kidnapping this kid. He really cares about other people. Cop shows up and they have a tense standoff. But when it comes down to it, Lucas does shoot the state trooper. And later we learn that he himself is a state trooper. So we know like the emotional weight that has for him. And that's kind of one of the like early moments that really hooked me in this movie. Is that kind of tension between like them believing so much in what they have to do, but like you're able to see the humanity in them and that kind of internal struggle.
And they don't want to abandon their humanity. Well, at least he doesn't want to abandon his humanity.
Yeah.
Because later on we get Roy saying that the only thing he ever believed in was Alton.
Yeah.
Which
Roy's a lot more cynical.
Yeah. Well, he's not only is he more cynical, he's also just like very single-minded.
Yeah.
Like I get the impression that as soon as Alton's powers manifested, he got caught up in the light show and saw something that for the first time in his life he actually like felt connected to a higher purpose. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like you take like the most hardened, cynical atheist in the universe and then show them an angel, like for real. Yeah. And then they'd be like, oh, that becomes their entire universe, because up until that point they've been closed off to those kind of things.
Yeah, and that's kind of, I want to say, kind of the central fantasy of the movie is like having this faith that like shows you incontrovertible evidence, and like basically everyone he does that to, he immediately converts.
Right, yeah, because we get Adam Driver's character Paul, who is pursuing them. He's been brought in to pursue them, and the government's aware of the weird shit that Alton can do because he pulls a satellite out of orbit.
Yes.
Which obviously, like, no one in this film seems to be like contesting the supernatural elements of it. Like, everybody who sees it is like, no, like clearly this kid can do these. Like, they don't seem to doubt that he can do these things at all, because they just kind of get immediate like proof of it. Like when Paul is interviewing all of the various people, obviously there's of the cult, there's a skepticism to what he's saying. But then as soon as the satellite incident happens, everyone's kind of like, yeah, okay, we acknowledge that
somehow he
can do these things. Yeah. And it's very telling that Paul's name matches with Paul from the Bible, who was a person persecuting Christians.
Yeah.
And then
the scales fell from his eyes.
and then God shows up and is like, yo, I'm real, bitch. And like, this isn't a Bible podcast, but there's no fucking way they didn't do that on purpose.
Yeah. There's definitely a clear Christ allegory.
Right. Yeah. And then because Paul is converted, because the government gets their hands on Alton, and then Alton's like, everybody, I only want to talk to Paul. Everybody else fucking leave.
Mm-hmm.
And the government lets that happen, which, okay.
Yeah.
Probably one of the more unrealistic elements is that the government just lets that happen.
Yeah.
But anyways, as soon as
I guess Paul was high enough rank at that point that I don't know.
Regardless, they Alton does some trickery with the cameras and gets Paul to join him in the room that they're keeping him in, and then he pulls up the goggles and light shows Paul, and then from that moment on, Paul is a believer, clearly. So the power of being able to see a better world, influences even their staunchest antagonist to join their side.
Yeah. Well, I will say not their staunchest antagonist, because like I think he's the one that's singled out because he is receptive to it.
I guess so, but like he was clearly in the pursuit of them. He was like, no.
Yeah.
But as soon as that happens, it's like, oh, yep, I'm going to betray the entire government for you. And then he handcuffs himself and just like kind of chills, and then he's fine at the end.
Yeah, well, yeah. Okay. So he takes Alton, he sneaks him out of the facility with Alton's help, because Alton can control all of the locks and power and everything.
Yeah, which because he's now gained control of his abilities, so he can just do it at will. And
Paul delivers Alton to his family and allows him to go on his quest, asks if he can go with them.
And they were like, no.
They said no. So he's like, okay, well, handcuff me so it looks like I didn't just hand him over. Yeah, it's not really clear like how that would really convince anyone.
Guess in my head I was thinking like, okay, well, Paul's gonna just tell the government that Alton's abilities allowed him to subvert his mind, basically.
Yeah,
that's probably what he's gonna say. He's gonna be like, yeah, Alton, basically the light took over my brain, took over me, and that's how he gets away with it, I guess.
But would they give him back his position? Because he comes back at the end. He's still a high-ranking government official.
If you're thinking about this like a Mage the Ascension game, he's a member of the technocracy, so they probably pulled some fucking strings. But if you're thinking about it in terms of just a regular movie, it does not make any sense. I have to fan fiction it as World of Darkness for this movie to make sense.
Yeah. There are a couple of things like that. The other most frustrating thing is also with Adam Driver, and it's when he discovers, like, he cracks the code of where they're going.
But they don't give you any information about what he did to crack the code.
He stares at the whiteboard with all of these coordinates, and he's like, these don't mean anything. And then he circles 2 numbers, and he's like, aha.
Yeah, and I was sitting there and like we're watching this movie and I'm like, movie, I need you to give me more context, please. Like it's not like I can't handle like like me not knowing stuff that like that's to be revealed later. And if the movie had told me later what he had done, I would have been like, okay, fine, I'm good with that. But the movie does not explain.
Nope. He circled the 2 numbers.
He cracked the fucking code, y'all. We solved that Scooby-Doo mystery.
One of their other allies early on mentions ley lines briefly.
Yeah. And the movie's, even the plot of the movie is like, nah, get that shit out of here.
Yeah. They just wanted to like kind of throw that word out there and you can do with it what you will. But it's kind of implied that helped him like find the location.
Yeah, basically, because he like pulls out a bunch of books. not a character we haven't talked about at all yet, but he's just like some guy that's friends with Roy and people.
Yeah.
And he pulls out a stack of books and like a charts and stuff like that, and it just like it's a bunch of new agey books and stuff, and so it's like, oh, okay, well, clearly there's something going on here. And you could kind of put it as like it's open to interpretation, but also like, if there is a higher dimension and then there are paths by which that higher dimension leaks into our current occupied dimension, they would in theory be like ley lines, I guess. So it's like again, science fantasy, because trying to attribute a technological attribute to the internal magical mechanism of the movie.
Yeah.
And it kind of reminded me a little bit of The Strain with that. Like, I don't know if you've seen The Strain. Okay, well, in The Strain, no spoilers for the show because I want you to watch it, but effectively there is a supernatural aspect to what's going on, but it manifests with these tangible scientific qualities. So, like, for example, there are these parasitic worms, and that's what turns you into one of these vampires. But and if you like shine them with UV light, they die, or if you hit them with silver, they die. And there is a biological reason for it, but it is reinforced by a supernatural thing. Like the supernatural force demands. The supernatural force demands that reality create the contrivances for this to be. Sunlight kills the vampires because it is a supernatural reason being reinforced by a biological component. As above, so below kind of stuff. Yeah. And that's so it's kind of like that, where it's like maybe all of this stuff is magic, but it's being filtered into our reality, and it by its nature creates these technological justifications in the physical world. So he controls some kind, Alton controls some kind of like etheric force, but it manifests as controlling EM radiation.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about theming, because obviously there's the faith and religion aspects, but I think there's also kind of I think you said it earlier, where like the seeing of a better world, the belief in a future, seeing the future in our children kind of thing, being a force of that it inspires people to achieve
like the light in the children's eyes encourages you to seek a better tomorrow, or
something like that.
I don't know, this movie's kind of messy. Like, let's just talk about the fact that 2/3 of the way through the film it just kind of forgets about the cult. Like, they don't matter anymore. Like, the cult is the reason why the government gets their hands on Alton. But after that, the cult doesn't really come up again.
Are they the reason?
Yes, because them running away in the car, in the truck, when they kidnap Alton and they're driving up on the interstate, we see the truck splayed out. So, like, the government got their hands on Alton because of the cult. Yeah. But then the cult just stops fucking mattering.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I feel like they served their purpose. Like, what else would they do?
Well, that's what I mean. Like, it's not that they don't. The story doesn't have a use for them anymore. But I think that that's a problem, because the story should have had them be the actual force that is trying to stop. Because I feel like having the government involved at all is kind of a misstep of this film. It should have been the cult versus Roy and company. Yeah. Not because like the cult is like the cult does not serve any purpose in the film that the government could not just fulfill. and vice versa. Like the two antagonistic forces in this movie could be replaced with the other and it wouldn't change the plot at all. Like Alton could have easily have been like captured by the government and being raised under government observation for his abilities.
Yeah.
And then his dad would have broken him out and been on the run and the government's pursuing them, and it would have been the same plot, because it's irrelevant to the end of the film, basically.
Yeah.
And also, like, they get off easily. Like, it's way, in my opinion, it's way too easy for them to get him where he needs to go. Like, the one hiccup they have is when the government takes him, and then the plot just is like, yeah, but, you know, actually, they give him right back. Like, he's with the government for like 8 minutes.
Yeah.
And then the plot just gives him back to the family. And it's like, I get it, but also, like, you gotta, this, when I say this is a very low stakes film for the gravitas it's going for, I mean, like, the antagonistic force doesn't really enact that much of a toll on the protagonists.
Yeah.
Like, they get shot, but he seems to shrug off getting shot in the fucking shoulder really quickly.
Right, of course.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like, you get what I'm getting at? Like, it's not that I don't like this film. I actually really like the ideas of this film, and it was a very, I enjoyed watching it with you. It's just that when I'm thinking about it, I'm like, this script needed another pass through, one more pass, and they should have either removed the cult or the government. Because when the story starts and the cult's like, you know, we start with the cult. We start like we like what, because like we get the initial opening of the, you know, Roy and Co. in the motel room, and then the very next thing we get is stuff with the cult.
Yeah.
And the FBI raiding their compound, and they draw some parallels between Waco and Ruby Ridge with that, because, you know, the government's like, we've been watching you since you've been stockpiling weapons, which is the thing that happened with Waco and Ruby Ridge.
Yeah.
You know, and the stuff that just happened up in Cascadia a couple years ago. So, like, they're trying to play with these things, but they don't do anything with it. And then it's like, again, as I mentioned on the Little Man episode, the thing I hate more than anything is a waste of potential.
Yeah. It's a weird movie. Like, I don't know.
But I didn't hate it. I just feel like
exactly, like, that's kind of what's weird about it. Like, I don't know what works. I guess it's just like the characters and their motivation, like, adds, like, makes these things compelling that wouldn't be if you didn't.
The characters are perfect in this film. I will agree. It's like, it's just like one of those things where if there weren't as many, like, really talented actors in this film portraying their characters, and, like, a child actor who convinces me that they're a 30-year-old man inside of a fucking 12-year-old's body.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like, almost had like a Steven Spielberg, like, AI kind of vibe to the kid.
Yeah. I actually just watched that recently, but I'm not gonna get sidetracked with it.
Like, there's still an innocence to him, but also, like, wise beyond his years. You know, it's a trope that I don't really like, but in this film, everybody does such a good job with their respective roles that it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, and I prefer it to trying to write for a child, and, like, just having a child actor is risky to begin with, and, like, if you don't get the dialogue right, it's just ugh.
And the dialogue is very good in this film.
Yeah.
So overall, I'm disappointed by its waste of where it could easily have gone. I wanted it to either be more of an overt thriller or to be just full cosmic horror. Like
Yeah.
the end of this film, when he does what he does, and he opens this rift, and everyone can see the structures, like what we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
I wanted that to be like horrifying. Like I wanted the truth to be scary, even if it's beautiful, like a serene horror.
Yeah.
Like, like these things are beyond, like I wanted these things to be beyond us, to be just completely like indescribable, and like, something that like people are sitting there in terror, not because it's evil necessarily, although it would have been really interesting if they had made them malevolent, but like it just something that would have been more than just solar punk.
Yeah. Because this movie is kind of a cross between K-Pax and Children of Men.
Yes.
And obviously it didn't have the budget to be Children of Men, but that's like if it were going to self-actualize into like full thriller, that's where it would go, I think.
And again, I see where they were going. I see what they wanted to say. It's just, or just don't show us. Just don't show us. Right. I think the movie would have been more impactful if he just disappeared, and we didn't see anything. Like, I don't know. It's becoming a repeating trend with me in these movies, is that I want them to show a little less. Just a little less.
Yeah.
Just to leave room, because look, you're never going to do a better job than your viewer at filling in the blanks. If you leave it open-ended, the viewer will fill it in with stuff that is far more interesting most of the time than what you are going to put on the screen. So if you're trying to portray something like a higher vibrational entity, or some kind of plane beyond understanding, you either have to like really commit to making it exotic. Like if the characters being transported to another plane is a huge part of the plot, you have to show it, obviously. So you have to commit. But this film, we didn't need to see it. We didn't need to see that. We could have just had him energy circling around in bright light, and then he vanishes, and then we are left to wonder about it.
Right. I think I feel like the purpose of, like, not necessarily showing us the audience, but like revealing this world is like it's like showing this utopia, what could be, which could inspire humanity theoretically, or it's maybe a little bit of the like end of Watchmen, where we're that was a trick, but we're seeing these other intelligent life out there inspires us to unite, like something in that realm, but we don't see any of those effects.
Right. Yeah. But Roy and co go to jail.
Yeah.
The mother gets away. Somehow she's cutting her hair.
Yeah. It's kind of implied that Alton helps her, I guess, from the other plane.
Which would make sense, because they're like looking at us and watching. And
yeah.
Clearly they have the ability to open and manipulate at will and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. So, but the last shot of the movie is Roy in prison, and they're
letting him see the sun.
Yeah. Giving him his hour of sun or whatever. And he smiles for practically the first time in the movie.
And his eyes glow.
Oh, they do?
Yeah, they
do.
I
didn't even notice that.
They start to glow.
Shit. Okay.
Which is that's why I said like it kind of reframed a little bit about what I was thinking. Was because there seems to be some of that power still in the world, and it's in Roy. So it's almost like Alton the faith he had in Alton being still remaining inside of him as some kind of power.
Yeah. Huh. Okay. Yeah. I wish I. Now I see what you mean. That it changes things. Yeah, because his main character arc was kind of overcoming his cynicism and having faith in something.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes through his crisis when Alton is captured by the government, but then he comes back full force when Alton Deus Ex Machinas his way out of it.
Right. So it's like, look, if you're going to write a story, don't write your character into a corner that then you have to contrivance your character out of. Like, the government shouldn't have gotten their hands on him. That should have just been.
Yeah.
Consider an alternative version of this film where Paul, Adam Driver's character, does not get to meet Alton at all. And so when we see him come in to talk with Roy's friend,
Lucas,
when we see him come in to talk to Lucas at the end, and he's like sitting down, like, I'm going to ask you some questions, and that's the last we see of him, it's like more impactful that he was chasing and now he's still chasing even though Alton is gone. It would have been maybe more interesting for his character to not have that sudden shift like that.
Yeah.
An alternate version of this film where we don't see the other world at all, and all we get is people's reaction to seeing it, because basically when Alton does the light show, people are reported that they can see the other world. They get a glimpse of it.
Yeah.
And Roy says that he saw it for 2 seconds when he was holding.
Yeah. He
Alton.
takes Alton out in the sun at a certain point, and he has like a mini version of this like
explosion
dimension.
Yeah, like this bubble thing that he does. Yeah. And it's like, okay, like I get, like, and if they would have just been like, okay, we don't get to see it because we're seeing it through the eyes of the characters who have seen it.
Right.
Which is why, like, when they show it at the end, I was disappointed, because I was like, well, then why did we spend so much time worrying about the way that the glimpses of it have affected other people? Because look, if some magical boy showed up and like opened their eyes and showed me what we see in this film is the other world,
yeah,
it wouldn't make me betray all my friends.
Yeah.
Like, look, I'm no friend of the government necessarily. Like, I'm not sympathetic to Adam Driver's character. He works for the fucking NSA. But, like, it's still kind of like, that's not awesome enough. Like, not awesome in the, like, way we use it now, but, like, awesome in the original definition. It's not impactful enough to justify the things that people do when they see it.
Yeah.
And I don't think there would have been a way for us to see it visually on the screen that would have made it feel justified.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Like, good on them for taking a swing at it, but yep.
Because it's like, when the movie started, you want to know what the overall, like, lack of cohesion this film reminds me of?
What?
It reminds me of No Country for Old Men.
Okay.
In that we keep changing what is happening. Like, when the movie starts, it's going one direction, and then by the end of the movie, it's in a completely unrecognizable position from where it started.
Right.
It's like that format, that kind of script writing, but done not as good.
I also thought of No Country for Old Men, specifically when they like drive past the truck and see.
Right, but like, whereas in No Country for Old Men, it really gets it, like gut punches you when it happens.
Right.
I didn't really feel anything when it happened in this film.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like, I don't know, things fall away because they stop mattering, and that's, I feel like has to be kind of the point as this Christ child comes into his power, and yeah, it just becomes more about faith and commitment.
But the characters get off too easy.
Yeah.
Anyway, good movie. 3.5 for me in terms of how much I liked it. Didn't really do anything I hated. So the things that the wasted potential is the only thing that brings it down for me.
Yeah.
It would have been higher if they had kind of done some of the things I was thinking. I don't know.
Yeah. It's a 4 for me. Which is solid good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Good movie. Highly recommended. Don't let what we've told you dissuade you if you haven't already watched the film. I think that it's worth your viewing just for the characters. And if you're a Mage the Ascension fan, try thinking of it like a Mage plot, and I think you'll enjoy it a lot more like I did.
All right. Well, we'll see you next week
with
Color Out of Space.
Color Out of Space time. Yo. Another movie about strange light spheres.
Yeah. So this is kind of a good like transitional.
Yeah, because it's about light. It's just a color out of space.
Just a color out of space.
Bye.